Good evening, everyone. We have a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Cape May. We are here in the Cape May City Hall Auditorium. Today is Monday, November 18th, 2024. The time is now 5:02 p.m. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Under the Open Public Meetings Law, notice of this meeting was sent to the Cape May County Herald and the Press of Atlantic City, and a copy of the agenda was delivered to each member of City Council, posted on the City website and the City Hall Bulletin Board. Notice is hereby provided that Cape May City Council meetings are audio recorded and/or video streamed live. Live video streams are posted to the Cape May City website. City of Cape May is not responsible if audio recording or live video streaming of a meeting is unavailable. Roll call. Deputy Mayor Baldwin.
Here.
Councilmember McDade. Here. Councilmember Meyer.
Here.
Mayor Mullock.
Here.
Councilmember Yeager.
Here.
City Solicitor Gillen Schwartz.
Here.
City Manager Dietrich.
Here.
Deputy Manager Riggs.
Here.
Deputy Clerk Turner.
Here.
All right, additions and deletions tonight, Council?
Any additions or deletions, Council?
I
No?
do believe there's one deletion for Employee of the Month, Manager Dietrich,
Okay.
until December,
We'll hold
Council.
off on that one. Okay. They're still a very good employee. We'll wait until they're available.
Yes.
Okay. And before we get to updates and old business, I'd like to move the resolution recognizing the Honorable Louis J. Belasco, Jr., Cape May City Municipal Judge, retiring judge, to Resolution 302-11-2024 to the top. Is everyone okay with that?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Cover the legal issue there, Judge.
All right.
Do I have a motion on 302?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Yeager.
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer.
Yes.
Councilmember McDade.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Baldwin.
Yes.
And Mayor Mullock.
Yes.
I guess just to start off, we'd probably ask Judge Belasco to maybe come up and say a few remarks, but he had a long, distinguished career, not only here with us here in Cape May, but in several different vicinages as municipal judge for over 38 years, all told, in 3 or 4 different municipalities in Cape May County. And it's just, this is probably one of the unique things. I was kind of remarking to him before, he didn't really get to spend much time, even though he was our municipal judge for many years, didn't get to spend a lot of time in the council chambers just because of the separation that the courts have to maintain with the governing body, so to speak. So I think it is appropriate for him to come up and spend a little time here with us and maybe get a final picture with council. And I know Chief Fashall has a few words, because might as well have you go and say your few words
By all means.
before
First
Chief.
time I could jump the judge. I've been told to keep my remarks short. However, it's very hard to keep things short with a man of his caliber. So I will read from my pre-written script here and keep on task, as my deputy city manager and Aaron have told me to do. Good evening. It's my pleasure and honor to recognize the Honorable Judge Louis Belasco. And I can tell you, this is sort of a bittersweet day for us. I would have more officers here today right now, but they're actually out arresting someone right now. So I apologize for that, Your Honor. However, their high regard for you as well. So again, this is bittersweet, a day for us as we say farewell to a man we highly respect, admire, and appreciate. Judge Belasco and the Cape May Police Department go back a long way since being appointed municipal court judge in 2009, correct? He has served our community with grace and distinction. I'm here this evening to express the police department's gratitude to Judge Belasco for his remarkable career of public service and his clear-eyed commitment to making our state laws work for its people. And our gratitude extends not only to Judge Belasco, but to his family for being considerate partners in his decades of public service. In particular, I want to thank his children, grandchildren, and his beautiful wife, Mary, to my left. I've woken that family up many times over the course of time. Our officers call him at 2 o'clock in the morning. She usually grabs the phone and says, "Lou, it's for you." Am I correct? So, again, like I said, our gratitude to your family, Judge, for all those late night calls from our officers. Waking up a judge at that time of the night is usually not hard to do, but for them to go right on task is very important. Right into giving us clear direction is clearly important, and a job that's not for many. Judge Belasco's public service started early as a graduate of Seton Hall in 1980, appointed to JMC Judge of Municipal Court in 1986, appointed to Cape May Municipal Court Judge 2009 through 2024, and also the presiding judge for Cape May County, correct? Making many decisions that made and helped foster great relationships between courts and police agencies. Beyond his intellect and hard work and legal insight, he is an avid runner, many times jogging with his children and grandchildren. I ran a few times with him. He always beats me. A truly free-spirited man while engaged in his exercise and free time, and a very, very proud father, grandfather, and husband. I am proud and grateful to have served under Judge Belasco during his distinguished career on the bench, and I'm very proud to be here today as we honor his service and commitment to the City of Cape May, the Cape May Police Department, and its members alike. We thank you for all of you've taught us through the many years and your guidance. Judge Belasco's legacy includes his work as a leading scholar and jurist in criminal and administrative law, bringing his brilliance to bear to make government decisions very clear and effective. It includes his stature and as a beacon of wisdom on our Constitution and what it means. And through it all, Judge Belasco has worked tirelessly to give faith to the notion that exists in the law for people. Everyone knows that Judge Belasco has been an exemplary judge, fair to the parties before him, courteous to his colleagues, and careful in his reasoning. His opinions are practical, sensible, and nuanced. It reflects in his belief of the judge, as a judge, not to lay down the rule, but get it right and fair and doing the right thing the first time. Judge Belasco's officers and colleagues describe him as his work ethic, as hardworking, his desire to learn more, his kindness to those around him, and his optimism for the promise to our state and laws and this country. And he has patiently sought common ground and built consensus, seeking to bring the courts together. During very hard times through his career, through the last few years of this country's turmoil, he's kept things on pace. I think he is a model public servant in the time of great division in this country. Judge Belasco has been everything that his country has asked him to be and his state has asked him to be during his time. We could not have asked for a better judge during this time. Today is his day, our day to commend his life service to the city, to the court system, to the police department. But let me say some critical words about the importance of selecting a successor to replace Judge Belasco. It's very hard to do, and the mayor and city council did so. Choosing someone to sit the bench for the city of Cape May after Judge Belasco, I believe, is one of the most serious constitutional responsibilities a municipality can be tasked with. The process was rigorous, selecting a replacement worthy of Judge Belasco's legacy. We didn't want anybody to take your position that was not worthy of that position and the caliber of court that you held. We have no doubt that the Honorable Judge Thomas Keywood will and has already been fit that bill precisely, continue to bring law and order to our municipality. I will finish with these simple words. Judge Belasco, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for always answering the late-night calls, providing guidance and clear direction as we maneuver the ever-changing laws of this great state and country. We will be forever grateful for your service to our staff and those residents and visitors who you had the privilege and circumstance to stand before and preside over. My heart always will thank you for everything you've done for us. Thank you, Judge.
Mayor Mullick, members of council, everyone else here, I'm humbled by everything that was said and by the chief's kind words. And what I feel now is gratitude, really. Gratitude for being able to serve the residents and the visitors to the city of Cape May. Gratitude to be able to work with such a fine staff that we have in municipal court, and our prosecutor, Kyle Weinberg, and our public defender, Mike Sorensen, court administrator, Amanda Melendez, and her staff. And I'm grateful to be able to work in this City Hall because there's a special feeling here in City Hall, and it extends to all the departments, and it's really like a family here in Cape May. And I would drive over the bridge every Wednesday, and I get like I know I'd be facing a calendar of cases that might be tough to decide, but I got a sense of, relief, I'm in Cape May. This is great. Our municipal courts, not only in Cape May, but across the state, see far more. I think our filings in the state of New Jersey are 6 million cases filed in the municipal courts. See far more people than even the superior courts. And most people will form their opinion about the court system by how they're treated in municipal court. And I can tell you from your staff, from the prosecutor, public defender, we always tried to give people respect, to give them the opportunity to be heard, and to give them an explanation of my decision. They didn't always agree. You probably heard some of the complaints about me, I'm sure. But nevertheless, we were transparent and made sure that everyone left, whether they were in person, whether they were on video, whether they filled out a written affidavit or filled something out online, the reasons for my decision were on the record and they were explained to everyone. So I know your court is in good hands with your new judge. You have a fine, fine staff, and I wish you all the best. And Councilwoman Baldwin says it's bittersweet. Well, the sweet part is no more phone calls, but the bitter part is not working with all of you in the future. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Judge Bledsoe, I just want to thank you. We've been honored and blessed to have you as a judge in the city of Cape May. We heard from so many police officers, of course, as we were interviewing different judges for the job, and attorneys across the state that admired you, and really the city has been so well served to have you, and someone who literally is thought of as at the top of your profession being here in the city of Cape May. We've just been blessed to have you, and your family, your son Lou and your grandkids who I've gotten to know and Wildwood Catholic, just a wonderful person and a wonderful family, so we thank you greatly. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, that'd be great, please. Yeah, Your Honor, would you come back here, would you mind? Would you come front and center here? Thank you.
Scooch in.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations.
Enjoy your retirement.
Yeah, congratulations, yeah. You might as well go get some dinner. You deserve it. Yep. Okay, with that, we're on to updates and old business. City Manager?
Thank you. Just have a couple items. Coming this Thursday, we're going to have a little extra police activity on the streets and the beaches in Cape May. They're coming back to do, I think this will be the second year. The chief left. Yeah, so I think this is like the second year that they've, the mounted police from throughout the state are going to be doing some training in Cape May County, and they're going to kind of end the week down here doing some work both in the city and over on the beach. So you'll see that they'll be over here most of the day on Thursday. So
Do you know?
there's two different groups. So I think from nine almost all day long, they're going to be within the city doing different activities. They'll be either up on the beach or there'll have be a second group that'll be like moving through the city and doing like kind of training demonstrations on how they work. Okay. And our police officers will be working with them on how to utilize that kind of a mounted police patrol.
Okay. Thank you.
talked to Chief Coulter, wanted to make an official announcement. It's been confirmed that our ladder truck has been officially placed and ordered. We have a tentative delivery date of October of 2025 for a new ladder truck. So in 2025, we're probably getting close to 3 apparatus for the fire department. The new engine should be coming in, a ladder truck, and then an ambulance. So they'll be fully stocked in their new firehouse.
That's great.
We also received notification from FEMA ISO for our recertification for CRS ratings that we're now will remain at a Class 5, which is a 25% discount. And finally, we received notification from the NJDOT that we received a $180,000 grant for the reconstruction of Winona Avenue with some stormwater and drainage improvements.
That's great. Perfect. Thank you. City Solicitor, any updates or old business?
Just a brief update for council. We did receive our initial numbers from the DCA for the affordable housing fourth-round obligations, along with every other municipality in the state. Initial look at it indicates that it's a manageable figure, that there'll be some planning efforts to go into how that folds into the city's plan and vacant land adjustments and things like that. But it's an initial positive indication that I think we'll be able to manage. And in the coming months, Paul and I will be working with Craig Hurlis and our Affordable Housing Council to meet our obligations and our deadlines. The next deadline really for this is January 31st, 2025, when every municipality needs to adopt a binding resolution, either accepting or proposing different numbers. So you can expect some updates and direction and recommendations in the coming months from the administrative staff.
May I ask you, do we have any update on the 2 units on Lafayette Street? Have they?
I did speak with Triad and Associates. They are now in the process of sifting through the applications.
Okay.
Not really sifting, but trying to figure out what their next steps are in now placing somebody in those units. So they've received all the applications,
Okay.
the deadline's now passed, and now they're going on to their next step.
Okay. Do they have any deadlines that they, no? Okay.
Their only real deadline was filing the deed restriction and,
Okay.
and creating the units, but they've been working through the process.
All right.
They're online essentially for affordable housing purposes, but the hard part really is finding,
The qualifying criteria.
Correct,
Understood.
yeah.
And the information they have to collect from the applicants. Understood. Thank you.
Okay, City Council, any updates or old business? Okay, moving on to the Small Cities Community Development Block Grant Program public hearing. With us this evening is Mark Blauer. Thank you, Mr. Blauer. Thank you for being here. If you could just turn on the button there. Thank you.
It's green.
Perfect.
Oh, good evening. I was here last year about this time. Each year we have an opportunity to apply for up to $400,000 through the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs Small Cities Community Development Block Grant Program, also known as CDBG. The program is funded by the U.S. Department of HUD. HUD gives grants to each of the 50 states. Those states decide how to manage that program on behalf of non-entitlement communities. The larger communities, the larger counties in New Jersey, think Trenton, Newark, Camden, Atlantic City, they get a direct grant from HUD each year, CDBG. They simply have to show up. They get the money, spend it correctly, they'll get the money each year. Certain counties with populations in excess of 200,000, most of the counties fall in that category except those in the north and those in the south, namely Cape May, Cumberland, Salem, and in the north, Warren, Hunterdon, Sussex, are non-entitlement. They don't have a population of 200,000. So if we were in Gloucester County, we would go to the county to get a piece of their annual entitlement. We don't have that. We have an opportunity to compete for a portion of $6.5 million. I've been working for the city since 2008. Most of those years, if not all those years, we applied. Most of those years, we won. The 4 most recent years, we applied for 21, 22, 23, and 24 projects, fiscal years. 21 project is nearly done, which is the redundant water transmission main being undertaken by South State. I believe that we have a little bit of testing to finish, then we'll be drawing that $400,000 grant for that particular completed project. The 22 project was the Kiwanis Park ADA compliance, long since done, very successful. Our 23 project is nearly done. It's the beach mat project, which people are very familiar with, having seen that successful work being done. In addition, Paul and Kevin had ordered additional beach wheelchairs, which we've received, and we are using part of the grant money for reconstructing the ramp at Mount Vernon. We're purchasing materials out of the grant and using our own staff in the off-season to do the reconstruction. Approximately maybe $90,000 plus or minus a little bit remains in that program. And Mayor, you're thinking, and others have thought about extending the beach mats to Poverty Beach.
It was,
And-
it was a popular
Right.
one.
And
I
I've
don't know if
spoken-
I don't know if we'll go to poverty, but we'll see how far we can.
But, we have money left over, which we need to spend.
Yep.
So I've spoken to you and I've spoken to Paul, and we're going to be pursuing that. The 2024 project was announced in May. It's just getting off the ground. We got our grant agreement a few months ago. It is phase one of the tennis club ADA compliance. We asked for $360,000, we got $240,000. There's nothing to say that we can't go for more this year. We can apply for what we did not get, $120,000, plus the Cornell report identified additional improvements that need to be done, and one additional good idea is ADA compliant walkway network between the tennis club and the physics estate. So that right now, we have an opportunity, that's why we're here tonight, we have an opportunity between now and December 18th to apply again for the 2025 program. And just speaking in the last few hours, I believe I'll be asking Carol Titelian from Engineering Design Associates, who worked on our admirable application last year, to come up with a concept in conjunction with Paul to come up with another $400,000 that they're about to request to continue that work. If there's money left over in the $400,000 request, maybe we can throw some more beach mats in. There's nothing to say you can't work at more than one location. ADA compliance is, we go back to that year after year because handicapped persons by definition, according to HUD, are 100% low income. In a similar way, if you're building a senior center, senior citizens, regardless of their actual income, are viewed as 100% low moderate income. The 2010 census changed. We're no longer primarily low moderate income citywide. So the water transmission main project was the last time we could take advantage of the 2000 census, which had not yet, pardon me, I'm misspeaking. The 2010 census showed us as primarily low moderate income. The 2020 census showed us below that point. So rather than submit an application, again, like the water transmission main and have it only turned down, we go back to the well in terms of ADA compliance. And we've done so many things since 2008 in terms of ADA compliance and made the city much more accessible for persons with disabilities, whether they have a walker or have a scooter or in a wheelchair, or things such as enjoying the beach, such as the beach wheelchairs, make it all the more accessible for people with some mobility problems. So this is another opportunity to apply. I'm suggesting we continue with what we've been doing, focus on the tennis club and the connection to the physics estate, perhaps more beach mats. This opportunity tonight is for the public to tell the city council what they'd like to see, whether it be this year or future years. And these ideas we put into the minutes that we submit to the funding agency, and we may draw upon those ideas in the future. And I believe the beach mats was a project that came out of that type of public process of people telling the city council what they'd like to see us do. And we made that happen. So again, I'm Mark Blauer. I'm a grant writer. I've been working for the city since 2008. If anyone for the public has any questions or comments about this project, former projects, future projects, this is their opportunity. To make Aaron's task simpler, if somebody has questions or comments, they should identify themselves for the transcript, and we will faithfully put their comments into the application. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.
So if council's ready
we
for the
open-
public hearing portion,
So we open this up to the public. Anyone wishing to speak on this topic is welcome to come to the microphone and state your name and address and give us your comments. Seeing none, we'll close public comment, but we're happy to, go ahead, Mr. O'Hara. We're happy to hear in the future from anyone listening at home or whatever. Please feel free to send the council an email. Mr. O'Hara?
How you doing? I'm Tom O'Hara, and I actually didn't come here for this, but I actually walked down the mat with my wife and I today, and it was a beautiful day, and what an asset that is to the town, and I think that, just thinking about the handicaps, of maybe if you did a couple little areas, how they have the,
Bump outs.
what do you call it, the tents that are on the beach, like?
Little bump outs.
Little bump outs,
Yeah.
just for handicapped people to be able to go to off of that.
Absolutely.
They'd have little sections there that they would be able to enjoy the beach also, because obviously you can't go off the thing. So I think that would be an
I think
awesome
that's great.
asset to it. And but just knowing the promenade the way it used to be, it used to look like that when you walk down the promenade. But we know that issue, so you don't have that view anymore. But it is very nice. That's all.
Thank you, Mr.
Mr. O'Hara, could I have your address, please?
303 South Beach Avenue.
Thank you.
Stacy Shan, 928 Columbia. As we were discussing this, it might be nice to have down by Poverty what we have at the Cove, which is one of those pavilions where people can go out and that are handicapped, that could go out on the boardwalk, or it's not the boardwalk there, but out there to see it. We can't do it at Poverty, maybe even around Jackson Street or in that area, make a platform for people to go out.
would be.
And so we're not just doing the Cove.
Like it, yeah.
I would
Thank you.
agree. It's important not just to be able to get across the beach, but have a destination and
Right.
to enjoy the facility
I
when
think-
you're out there.
Yeah.
It
that'd
would be a
wonderful.
nice anchor if it was possible to put it down towards Poverty, or at least as far down as you could get, Baltimore or whatever, based on, because it would create a nice sort of anchor at each end.
And keep in mind, with the $400,000 limit, there's nothing to say you can't come in year after year and build upon what you've done. I don't recommend asking for $1 million project and having to put $600,000 of your own. Try to phase the ideas to take advantage of the grant as much as we can. We've been dealing with the 10% match requirement, so that if you ask for $400,000 and you're matching with $40,000 of your own, you want a budget around $440,000. Don't have $1 million budget, because all you're doing is overcommitting local money. These issues could be addressed year after year, and as long as Congress keeps approving this program, and it's been in existence since 1978, there'll be an opportunity each year, roughly the fall of each year.
That's great. Thank you, Mark. I did actually close public comment, but that's fine. Well, I'm going to just reopen it. Go ahead, if you would. Yep. Just for the record, that's all.
Okay. So these grants, they're
So-
not necessarily,
Mr.
I'm sorry,
Seeger.
Bill Seeger, Vermont Avenue.
Thank you.
They're not necessarily targeted or limited towards people that have handicaps or just people in low income. It's all people that can benefit from them? Or are they targeted?
The law requires that anything we do primarily benefit people of low, moderate income. And we as a city, according to the 2020 census, are no longer primarily low, moderate income. So what we do is look for the exceptions, the workarounds. If you're doing a project such as a senior center that benefits senior citizens, they as a protected group are 100% low income. Handicapped persons as a group are viewed as 100% low income. If this were the city of Wildwood or Woodbine, those communities are primarily low, moderate income. So anything they do, citywide or borough-wide, qualifies. We don't have that opportunity here, so I have to pick my shots carefully. and I try to focus on the two groups that I know that are automatically eligible. So that if I were to propose anything in Wildwood City, since they're something like 70% low and moderate income, it's eligible. You have to hit at least 51%. The 2020 census shows that we're supposedly 45% low and moderate income. So if I propose something with citywide benefit in Cape May City, I run the risk of being turned down cold because you didn't qualify. So we have to stay within the requirements of the Housing and Community Development Act, which is a federal act that funded this program, and U.S. HUD distributes the money to the states, but passes along all the rules of HUD as part of that.
So if your structure of your proposals put together and submitted, and it was questioned or audited for the fact of how many low-income people will be participating on the tennis courts, do we have a response to that, or it doesn't really matter?
We're not measuring the number of people who come out and play tennis. If we have a facility that's a public facility that's not accessible to the handicapped, it's out of compliance, and we need to bring it into compliance. So if you have a city hall that is not compliant in terms of access or bathrooms, you're out of compliance. Whether or not anybody shows up with a wheelchair ever, you need to be in compliance, and that's what we're striving to do. We don't have to do a census of actually who uses the facility.
Oh.
If an engineer or architect states in a report, and that's how we do it, that a facility that they saw is out of compliance with the Americans with Disability Act, then they say so, and that they propose a project, and then their conclusions are the proposed project will bring the facility into compliance with the Americans with Disability Act. So it's not so much a matter of who's playing at the tennis court. Perhaps somebody wants to accompany somebody to the tennis club who's themselves handicapped or can't play tennis but needs to use the restroom. They have to have an ADA-compliant facility to be able to use. I use in a similar sense when you have a recreational facility. It might be a soccer field. But, the grandparents may not be playing soccer, but they want to be able to be there with their grandchildren and have an accessible facility so they can use a restroom, can use a water fountain, can use a picnic table, would have an accessible spot for viewing the game. So it's not so much who's playing the game.
Okay, all right, I get it. The post office wouldn't qualify as something that such money could be invested in. Is that correct?
It's already owned by the federal government.
Right.
The federal government's responsible to make their own facilities ADA compliant. That's not a city responsibility.
Okay.
If you have a facility that's federally owned that you don't think is ADA compliant, you might want to call your congressman.
I know. Well, there's been a solid proposal made in the past, and it didn't work out. But I didn't know if this might be a way you can kind of get in the side door like you're doing with the tennis courts.
I can't use this money on a federal facility.
Okay, that's fine. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else on this topic? Seeing none, we'll close public comment on this, and we'll go to, this is resolutions all within connection of the application to this grant. And that's resolutions 303 through 306, is that right, clerk?
Yes, and if you don't mind, I will read them for the public. So we have 303-11-2024, resolution for the adoption of a state model citizen participation plan for DCA's Small Cities Program. 304-11-2024, resolution identifying a Small Cities Fair Housing Officer. 305-11-2024, resolution approving the Public Facilities Grant Management Plan. And 306-11-2024, resolution approving submission of a fiscal year 2025 Small Cities Public Facilities application. If council is ready to act on them, we can do so all at once unless you'd have further
Is
discussion.
everyone okay with that? As a group? Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And to be clear, this is 303 through 306.
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call?
Councilmember Yeager?
Yes.
Councilmember Meyer?
Yes.
Councilmember McDade?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Baldwin?
Yes.
And Mayor Mullick?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Blauer. And again, we really appreciate it. I mean, it's made a big difference to the city, so all these projects. Yep, thank you. Okay,
So now we're on to the Safe Streets and Roads Action Plan Program presentation from GPI.
hello. Thank you very much for coming in. We appreciate it. And I know you've been hard at work with our Bicycle and Pedestrian Committee and our liaison here, Mike Yeager.
And gentlemen, if you'd be so kind as to move those closer to you and speak into the microphones for us. Thank you.
Okay.
They do move.
Very good, thank you. So good evening, everybody. I'm Dave Kuhn with GPI, and my colleague Dale Foster, who many of you know, also with GPI. So we have a presentation, some slides to go through. You each should have a hard copy of the slides in front of you. So if we can move through these slides quickly. So we're asking for two things tonight. We're asking for approval of the Safe Streets for All Action Plan, as well as approval of a goal to reach 0 fatalities and serious injuries by 2040. So a local road safety plan is an actionable plan that is, this action plan was developed out of a grant from the US DOT's Safe Streets for All program that the city of Cape May obtained the grant. And this action plan serves a purpose of providing a foundation for applying for future grants that could be for implementation. Implementation means design or construction of projects, or it could be for supplemental planning grants for additional planning work. But to apply for those kinds of grants through the US DOT Safe Streets for All program, you have to have a qualifying action plan. So this action plan is for all of Cape Island, not just for the city of Cape May. So it's for all 4 municipalities that are on Cape Island. And it's not just about infrastructure, it's also about other types of efforts to improve driver behavior, pedestrian behavior, et cetera, so we can reduce fatalities and serious injuries. It also focuses on the roads, the streets themselves, not off-road facilities. Next. So our steering committee members started with the city's Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Council and then it was supplemented with representatives from the other municipalities. So we've had a great group of people to have these steering committee discussions. So there are 8 components that are required as part of the eligible action plan. I won't read all those, but we made an effort to make sure that we were addressing all of those, so this will meet those requirements moving forward. This is just a quick history on some of the crashes on Cape Island. On the left are all crashes that we have from 2017 through 2021, and you can see there was looks like 1 fatal crash in 2021, fatal or serious injury crash. And then on the right side, you see the chart there, the fatal and serious injury crashes only. The one on the left are all crashes. So I've just lost my train of thought. What point I was going to make about that. Oh, I was going to note this. So this plan is being done now in 2024. The data that we had to develop the plan, the latest we had at the plan development was 2021, and that is because the crash data comes from New Jersey DOT. They collect it from all the crash reports from the municipal police or the state police that they have, and that is the last full years of data that we had to work with. So we didn't have anything more recent than 2021 when we were developing this plan. So I spoke of a goal as part of the qualifying action plan. The requirement is that the leadership adopt a goal for either 0 fatalities and serious injuries or for a significant reduction in fatalities and serious injuries by a certain time frame. And the steering committee discussion, the recommendation was to set a goal of 0 fatalities and serious injuries by 2040. Oh, sure, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, thank you. This chart shows you the different crashes by the different crash attributes. So a crash may have differing factors or attributes that are attributed to it. So one crash may relate to multiple factors. So a crash that's reported, the police officer might note that it's an unlicensed driver and it's a younger driver, et cetera. So a crash may be counted in more than one of these categories. But we use this as a tool to look at where should the plan focus to do the most good. And the steering committee selected those items highlighted in blue as the plan's emphasis areas. So drowsy and distracted drivers, lane departure, intersections, and pedestrians and bicyclists. So that's where we zeroed in on this plan.
Excuse me, what's a PDO?
Property damage only, crash.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a significant portion of that chart, right?
So property damage only. And this plan focuses on fatal and serious injury crashes. That's the point of the plan. So not about every crash, but where are the fatal, how to reduce fatal and serious injury crashes.
I just wanted to confirm that
So-
the plan to go to 0 would not include those types.
That's correct.
Okay.
That is correct. So, I mean, it's all crashes, but it's fatal and serious injury crashes is what the goal is, to reduce fatal and serious injury crashes. So the plan also requires that there's an assessment of underserved populations, equity assessment, and we used a tool that US EPA has online to look at underserved populations and their representation on Cape Island. And what stands out is that the 65 and older population as an underserved population is 29% of the population on Cape Island. And this is from the 2017 to 2021 census. But when you look at it as a percentile compared to the rest of the census blocks around the country, that's a large portion when comparing it to other census blocks. So what that tells us is that's an area that we needed to make sure that we listen to, and we need to make sure that as we're going forward with any kind of implementation that we're considering 65 or older in any kind of safety countermeasure works or anything that goes on in the future. Stakeholder and public engagement. So there are 4 steering committees that we had. They were open to the public. We had a virtual focus group meeting July 30th. It was an online virtual meeting. And we got some input on behavior, but also stakeholders had an opportunity to talk about their concerns for roads and safety on the island. We attended the Cape May National Night Out August 6th. I had a table there to try to gather any comments that folks had. And then we had a public meeting right here on October 17th to present the elements of the plan and get input. So getting to the results of the plan, there were two processes that we used to get to the results of the plan in terms of priority locations. It's a combination of data and it's a combination of stakeholder analysis. And on the data side, there's 2 pieces here. There's what's called a hotspot approach, and the hotspot approach is really looking at where is there crash history. If there's an intersection or a corridor segment of road where there's a history. But then there's another approach, which is called a systemic approach, where understanding where the history is, you look at the roadway characteristics and you look at, are there similar roadway characteristics that present the similar opportunity, even though there may not be a crash history, may show that there may be a risk there for a future crash. So we looked at those 2 processes together and developed a way to prioritize that and discussed with the steering committee and stakeholder feedback to identify what the priority locations would be for this plan, understanding that you had to have a manageable number to go forward. You couldn't have, a whole bunch of priority locations. So we needed to try to drill down and identify those most important. So next slide, please. So these are the locations that came out of the plan. The first is Lafayette Street, running from Jackson Street and then just past Schellinger Street. Next is Washington Street, from Ocean Street to Sydney Avenue in the city. And then the intersection of Lafayette Bank and Decatur, and then Lau Lane was included with that since it's close by as a priority location. Seashore Road, Broadway and Central Avenue was a big area of discussion with the steering committee. How we look at that. There is some bicycle pedestrian traffic out there, and how we look at moving people safely through that area. Leeming Avenue, Elmira Street, Ocean Street, Landis and Stewart Lane, so that crosses West Cape May into